Welcome to Jurassic Reviews. On today's episode, I'm going to count down my 5 favorite Jurassic Park and Jurassic World T-Rex toys. These will include figures from Kenner, Hasbro, and Mattel. I've been meaning to start making lists like this, but I wanted to wait until I finally finished my Thrasher T-Rex video. Before I begin, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Also, at the end of the video, leave a comment below of your own top 5. Okay, let's begin. Number 5. For number 5, I have the Camo Extreme Canyon T-Rex by Hasbro. This is a repaint of the T-Rex from the regular Jurassic Park 3 line, which had a few repaints, with this one being the best. This might seem like a surprise choice here, as I think most would agree this is a relatively weaker T-Rex sculpt, and I tend to agree on that, though the Jurassic Park 3 line has grown on me over the years, along with this T-Rex, though I still think the Kenner stuff before them are vastly superior. Like other dinosaurs in the Camo Extreme line though, it has an awesome paint job. This is one of the coolest paint jobs on any Jurassic Park figure out there, and redeems the weaker sculpt by quite a bit. I love the stripes on this figure, they just pop so well against the mostly white and gray body. The head in particular looks awesome, with the tiny white dots around the top part of the skull. It's just a really well done paint scheme. The whole line is proof that even mediocre figures can be saved by great paint work. There is one downside to this figure. Sadly, the area around the torso on these things tends to yellow. There are a few, if any, out there that still look like they were originally intended. Despite this though, it still looks great. Number 4. The Hammond Collection Tyrannosaurus Rex. This is the best Mattel has to offer as far as their T-Rex figures. And while it's far from perfect, it's the closest we've gotten to a screen-accurate 93 T-Rex toy. When this was announced, I remember how excited the community was. It was the first large dinosaur in the line, and honestly, I never thought we'd get a collector line with a high-quality T-Rex like this. The paint job is pretty good, and the sculpt, like all Mattel T-Rex figures, has that Jurassic Park look nailed down. That all said, I just wish we would have gotten the Buck Lost World T-Rex that Mattel displayed for their failed crowdfund. The Hammond Collection has undergone some changes because of fan feedback, and one of those things is smaller and more accurate feet. Currently, this T-Rex, along with some of the other earlier Hammond Collection figures, has huge feet that does not look right at all. I sort of forgave this in my review of this figure, but after seeing the Buck and some of the upcoming releases, this figure begs for a re-release with corrected feet. There's also the issue with the glass-looking eyes, but that's one area that doesn't really bother me. Still, it's a great figure and Mattel's best T-Rex so far. If some changes are made to it, or we finally get the Buck, then I imagine Mattel will climb higher on this list. Number 3. At number 3, I have the Lost World Bull T-Rex by Kenner. This was a figure I never had when I was younger, but it still made an impression on me. I'd always see it in promotional material, or on the back of other Lost World toy boxes, and I'd hoped someday I would have one. I received the Thrasher T-Rex as my first T-Rex toy though, and didn't get this one way back then. I actually think I had its repaint, the Omega T-Rex, first. I purchased my first Bull T-Rex probably around 13 years ago, and it quickly became one of my favorites, and totally lived up to my expectations. It's a huge figure, and until Mattel came along, it was the largest Jurassic Park dinosaur toy. Its presence alone makes it worth it, with its cool paint job inspired by the T-Rex in the film. Proportionally, it's pretty odd, as it has a huge head as a result of the action feature, which is that it can eat other figures. It also has some good sound effects as well. A downside is that they don't always stand very well, as the legs tend to bend inwards over time, depending on how they are displayed or stored. Still, this is an impressive dinosaur toy and a worthy addition to any Jurassic Park collection. Number 2. At number 2 is the Jurassic Park Tyrannosaurus Rex by Kenner. This was the original Jurassic Park T-Rex toy. Released in 1993, it has a book-inspired paint scheme and a really great sculpt that does a pretty decent job capturing the T-Rex in the film. Dubbed the Red Rex by fans and collectors, it was the largest dinosaur of the original Jurassic Park toy line, and is still one of the most popular toys among all the many different lines out there. My first encounter with this figure was not one I owned, but a neighbor who had a bunch of the original line figures, though I remember the Red Rex was missing an arm. I did eventually get one when I was younger, but the roaring feature was broken, which wasn't a big deal as the roar on this is not great. It sports the real feel skin, which is mostly all rubber. I love this element of the old Kenner dinosaurs, and this T-Rex is among the best using it. It doesn't have a whole lot of posability or anything, but it makes up for it with a great sculpt, cool paint job, and the rubber skin. It's a classic. Number 1. My favorite Jurassic Park T-Rex toy is the Lost World Thrasher T-Rex. This should not be a surprise to anyone who follows my channel or saw my recent video on it. It's not just my favorite T-Rex figure, it's my favorite Jurassic Park toy, period. It was my first Rex that I ever got, and I still think it holds up to this day. It is a great sculpt and paint job, as well as some really fun action features. Even amongst the Mattel T-Rexes, I still think this is the one to beat. No other figure gives me more nostalgia like this one. It does have its own downsides, like the legs eventually becoming a problem and it not being able to stand very well. And the action features are on the fragile side, but the awesome sculpt with the real feel skin really sell this figure. If you're looking for your first T-Rex in your collection or want to get into the older figures, this is a great one to start with. So that's my top 5 T-Rex figures. What do you think of it? Let me know below, along with the list of your own. Thanks for watching and see you next time.